You're now listening to the Festival of Football, presented by Billy Harvey and Henry Barrett.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Festival of Football podcast. And today, me and Billy are going to be speaking about the weekend games that happen in the Premier League. We're also going to be talking about the Champions League potentially being moved to London. And then a fun little section at the end, we're going to be talking about who we want West Ham and Spurs to buy this summer. Basically, we're going to have 5 picks of who we can bring in. Obviously, it has to be realistic. We can't say Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. We're going to be realistic about it. But we're also going to talk about some players that we want to sell. Because obviously, we both have some deadwood at the club that we want to get rid of. So, yes. But we'll start off recapping the weekend games, Bill. Did you see much of the weekend games?
Yeah, I pretty much watched most of them, which was nice. It was a festival of football, shall we say, for me during the weekend. It was actually nice to sit down and just do nothing and watch them. I think I was feeling a bit sorry for myself on Saturday because I was out Friday night, so I just sort of laid on the sofa and watched all of the games. So I couldn't ask for much more.
Oh, lucky you, lucky you. So yeah, we'll start off. We'll just recap all the results. So Friday night, we knew that Leicester lost 4-2 to Newcastle. I'd say it's a surprising result, but I watched the game and Newcastle battered them. So Leicester were lucky to even get 2 goals, in my opinion. Newcastle, I think, just went to sleep at the end and just let in 2 goals. And yeah, but Wilson showing that he's crazy. He's a great player, same as St. Maximin. I mean, Newcastle keep them fit next season. I think they've got a good shot of moving up the table away from the relegation zone because they've got a good team. We'll go into the Leeds and Tottenham game in more depth as we will with the West Ham game. But as we know, Leeds beat Tottenham 3-1. Sheffield United lost 2-0 to Palace, predictable result. Man City and Chelsea, we'll talk about that game as well. Chelsea beat Man City 2-1. Liverpool 2-0 against Southampton. I mean, Southampton, I watched the game and I was like, come on, Southampton, do West Ham a favour. And they had chances, they had moments, and I was like, they can do it. But then they just, typical when you play a big club, you don't have the right mentality. Wolves beat Brighton 2-1. I saw bits of that game, and from what I did see, Brighton looked like they were on top until the red card, and then I think it changed. Villa and Man United. Again, Man United turn it around at half time. I tell you what, Bill, they're a good losing winning bet on the old football bets. Half time, full time,
Yeah. I don't know what Ollie says to him. Maybe he gets Sir Alex in at half time and gives him the old hairdryer treatment. Maybe he's replicating that because it seems to work.
Start sticking boots around.
That's it. Yeah, cups of tea flying and everything.
Yeah. We'll also go into the West Ham one, as I said, in detail. West Ham lost 1-0 to Everton. And Arsenal 3, West Brom 1, which again was predictable. We knew that you thought that Arsenal would win, even though they've been poor. So we'll start off with the Tottenham game. Thoughts, Bill?
I thought we were very poor. I watched the game, saw Leeds go ahead, fully deserved to go ahead. We obviously pulled one back. We were playing okay. I think the commentators got a bit excited about Dele Alli's performance. I thought it was okay. And then obviously Kane had that goal ruled offside that was, a toenail offside, shall we say. But it was offside, so it had to be disallowed. And I thought that Leeds actually deserved to win watching it. There was at no time did I think we was going to win that game. I always thought it was a matter of time before they got the second, and they did. And then, they wrapped it off with a third sort of late on. And it's like I said, before, that Ryan Mason doesn't have a plan B. Tottenham don't have a plan B. We have no philosophy, and then this is the results that we get. Leeds are a good side. They've done well against the so-called Big Six teams this season. They're a team that are very underrated. Given if you look at the quality of their squad, I wouldn't say they were the best players, but Bielsa gets the best out of them, and I think they could be a real force next season if they spend decent money in the transfer market and bring in the right players. They could be challenging for Europe next year.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. My only issue I'd say would maybe be but I can't say his name at the minute. Would he stay the manager? Because you got Arsenal. Will they sack Arteta? Tottenham need a manager. You never know what other big clubs in Europe might sack the manager and be like, oh, we could bring him in and do a job. We know what he's done at Leeds. He's basically took Championship players and turned them into Premiership players. He's got the best out of them, and he's doing what he needs to do to to make Leeds do well. I mean, I didn't personally see the game. I watched like highlights here and there, and I just when Dallas scores, straight away, Leeds are going to be all right because that means their game plan's working. And then when Tottenham equalised, I thought, oh no, not Tottenham, no Tottenham, don't do this because obviously I don't want Tottenham to win because I want West Ham to get Europe. And then Kane, as I said, we were talking while I was on, and you was like, oh, Kane was offside. I saw it. I saw the picture of VAR. Yeah, it's a toe, but it's a toe, mate. He can score. The ones that I think are ridiculous is when they're doing the arm, because like the sleeve of the arm and stuff, like no player's going to score. And even if he does score with his arm, 9 times out of 10 they're going to give it for handball because when he's going to nudge it like that, it's probably going to hit below the sleeve, and they're going to give that for handball anyway. So the ones which I don't understand when people moan about, oh, it's only his toe offside. Like you hear all these commentators all the time when they've got their agenda and their favourite players that's been put offside. Oh, it was only his toe. The attacker should be given advantage. Well, no, mate. His toe's offside. He can score with his toe. If it's his finger, fair in do because it's his finger. He can't score with his finger. But his toe, he can score with. So if it's offside, it's offside. Is it harsh? Of course, but it's offside. So yeah, I mean, Leeds dominated you, mate, and it just goes back to what it is. You play it. Some of the players you have there are fickle. They perform well one week and then they bottle it next week. It's like that classic saying, "Spurs it up."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you don't have a strong enough mentality. Look at Bow. He didn't turn up again. You know, and as we always say, Dele Alli's overrated. So of course they're going to overrate him and saying how amazing he is. Ever since he scored that goal against Palace where he knocked it over his head and then hit it on the volley, since that day people have been, getting overexcited about him and whatever. But I don't see it personally. I mean, unlucky for Kane that he didn't score. I like Kane, but I think it was a fair result at the end. And what we're going to talk about in a little bit, I think Tottenham need a big summer. They need a big summer. They need to get the manager sorted out quickly so that he can bring in players that he wants. Because if you start the summer where you don't have a manager, obviously the Kane drama is going to go on all through Europe, and I wish it wouldn't because it's going to affect him at the Euros. But at the Euros, he's going to play at the Euros, and then he's going to sort his transfer out afterwards, or whatever, if he does leave or he doesn't leave. And me personally, I just think Tottenham need it to be done quickly so that the manager can come in and say, right, I want to bring in a centre back, a right back, and a midfielder, or whatever it is. But if you bring him in halfway through or after the Euros, it gives him such little time, mate. Such little time. Because what you got to remember is the World Cup next year. So when the season starts, the World Cup's the following year, isn't it? There's none in the summer.
No.
It's not in the summer. So yeah, you could say that they'll have more time then, but I personally think that Tottenham need to give this whoever it's going to be in straight away. Like me personally, now I'd announce him. I'd announce him now and say, right, Ryan Mason's going to stay in charge to the end of the season, but we're bringing in, the Brighton manager or Southampton manager. We're bringing him in at the end of the season. He's going to finish up at his club at the end of the season. He's going to come to us because then he already start making plans. But if you leave it too late, for me, I think it's going to be really bad. But yeah, from what I saw of the game, Leeds deserved it. And yeah, on their day, Leeds are a good team, mate. And I see Leeds being right up there. As I said, the only problem is if they're not that far off it at the minute. I think it's like 5 points off of Europe. So I mean, if Everton, Tottenham, and West Ham lose all the rest of their games and they win, possibly the slightest chance that there is they could get it this year, but that's looking unlikely. But yeah, I just think Leeds are a championship, got quite a lot of championship players that he got the most out of, and then he's added quality, and that's the difference. Whereas Tottenham are weak-minded, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, we are. I don't think they're playing for Ryan Mason because they know he's not going to be there next season. Like you said, Gareth Bale doesn't need to play, does he? He's on loan. He's going back to Real Madrid. He's going to get his 600,000 a week, whether they sell him or not, or Zidane goes. No one really knows at this moment in time. Then you've got players like Kane, who obviously wants out. Then we've got players like you said, like Dele Alli is just a hype job. Too worried about his social media accounts rather than playing football. And then, yeah, like you said, we will go through at the end the clear out that Tottenham need, and it's a huge one because I'll be honest with you, those players that we've got are not good enough. They're very overrated. Players like Sissoko, Bergwijn, Højbjerg, Harry Winks, Ndombele, Lucas Moura. Like the list goes on and on and on. And like you said, I think on the day Leeds deserved to win, they showed they were the better team. They knew their system, they had their philosophy, they play the way they play. You know what you're going to get, but it's effective. And I think we need a manager that will bring that to us. And yeah, hopefully they make an announcement soon because that manager needs to buy the players that he wants.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like you said, Bergwijn and Lucas Moura. I think they're both good players, like pretty decent players. I just don't think they get in the team enough. You look at that when is it Bergwijn? I can't even say his name. But you know him that. When he first came to Tottenham, he was on fire, mate. Like he came from PSV, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was like, I remember that the hype about him was mad. He played against Man City, won you the game, and it was just like he was like different. I thought, okay, he might be the player that takes Tottenham to the next level. He's young. He's got, he looks like he's got fire in him. And Mourinho just stopped playing him, and I'm just like, just because he doesn't fit the way Mourinho played, and that's what you get the wrong manager in at the wrong time in a club, and it ruins everything. It's like I feel like if you, as much as Pochettino had to go, if you stuck with him, I think you would have been all right this year. I really do. I think you would have been in top 4 because you had the sort of players that he could, blend with. I mean, I did see. I didn't read too much into it, but I saw the headline on a news article, and it's talking about Pochettino going back to Tottenham.
I can't see that ever happening.
I mean, I don't think so either, but it's probably just media, trying to get clicks again. But still, I mean, it's one of them things. I don't know.
Would I take him back in a few years' time? Yeah, of course you would, because he's probably one of our most successful managers that we've had in recent times, barring Harry Redknapp. And Harry Redknapp goes underrated for Tottenham. And if you look at what he achieved for us with the players that we had, that he achieved it with, players like Pascal Chimbonda. I mean,
mate, Harry Redknapp was amazing. He's a top manager. He's a top player, as Harry Redknapp would say.
Yeah.
And I mean, bringing in Crouchy, you had Defoe, you had Keane, mate. I was just so angry that when we brought Robbie Keane in, that was the season he decided to not score goals. It pissed me off.
It happens, and I think we need a manager that's a good man manager, someone who's going to put their arm around players and get the best out of them, because that's what players need now. They need. Yeah. If Harry Redknapp was managing now, he'd be at a top club. If he was a young manager now, he'd be at a top club because his man management skills are immense. He gets the best out of players that are not very good. Like we saw it when he was at West Ham, we saw it when he was at Tottenham, we saw it when he was at Portsmouth. He got the best out of those players that everyone thought that were past it, like Carnu and Sheringham and Yakubu.
And not Benteke,
Benjani, yeah. I mean, players like that he got the best out of,
I always remember that funny story that Harry Redknapp tells about Benjani. He's like, Benjani, we've accepted an offer from Man City. You're gonna leave. No, Gaffer, I don't want to leave, Gaffer. I want to stay in Portsmouth. He's like, what? You don't want to go Man City? He's like, no, Gaffer, I want to stay here in Portsmouth, work with you and the players. I enjoy it. He's like, Benjani, you're getting on the plane. You're going to Man City, because I think they offered like 20 million or something.
They did,
like, no, you're going. And he had to put him on the freaking plane. Brilliant. But Harry Redknapp's class, man. I remember him in freaking Jungle as well. He was class in that as well.
Yeah, he's a top bloke, isn't he? But yeah.
Yeah, he loves you. Is it Jam Roly Polies?
Yeah. Remember that advert as well? That was great.
Brilliant. Okay, so we'll talk about the City-Chelsea game. Now, I was sitting watching this game, and obviously I wanted City to win. I'm sitting watching it, having a few beers, and I'm just like, I'd sit here on top here, look at this. At first, I thought this game's dead. Nothing was happening. I thought it was going to be a 0-0. And then Man City upped it. Sterling took it off Aguero. Aguero weren't happy that he scored. And then they get the penalty, and it's like, if Man City scored that penalty, it's game over. City win the league. It's all over and done with. Aguero decides to do a Panenka. What is he thinking? Like, it is... I mean, you do that against West Brom or someone, people are still going to be like, what the hell? You're doing it against Chelsea where you scored the goal, you're guaranteed league title. I mean, the next time Man City play, they could be possibly 4 points ahead of Man United. The pressure's on them then. And then they're going to Newcastle, who are on a high at the minute. If they lose that game and Man United then win, that's only 1 point. Like, it's insane. I mean, all right, Man United's got Liverpool, they've got Leicester, they've got to play both of them games, like Tuesday and then Thursday. So likely that Man United will win them both, but very unlikely. But City, man, they're living dangerously. Like, they're trying their best to throw it away.
Yeah, and I mean, City dominated the first half, didn't they? I thought Chelsea were okay, but when Aguero stepped up for the penalty, like I just went and got a drink because I was like, oh, it's 2-0. Like, this is the game done now. I'll go and get a drink. Like, you know, I came back and I heard that he'd missed, and I was like, oh, did he hit the post or something? Then I came back, watched the replay, and I was like, what is he doing? Like, come on, Sergio, you're better than that. And Mendy, to be fair to him, Mendy read it all the way, and that was a big save. And I think psychologically that affected the game. As we saw, Chelsea went on to win it.
Yeah, definitely.
And they turned City over twice in the last 2 games, and you know it was
Mate, this is what I said to you. I said to you last time in the FA Cup, they did a job on them. They did a job on them here. All right, yeah, it was down to Aguero missing that penalty. If Aguero scored that penalty, it was game over. But in the second half, credit to Chelsea. I mean, they dominated. They defended well, and they did the right things. I mean, they had was it 2 goals that were ruled offside. And it's like when they made subs, they took Kante off, and it didn't even matter, you know. And they're bringing on, like, although Hudson-Odoi, I think he'll be great in the future. He's not got it at the minute, and I think, like, they're bringing him on, and he's just still doing bits in the game and stuff. And it's just Man City couldn't handle what Chelsea were bringing on the day. And unfortunately for West Ham, Chelsea won, but they deserved it, to be fair. Although I do think Man City should have had a second penalty when Sterling got took out by Zuma. What did you think? Do you think it was a penalty?
Yeah, guaranteed penalty. Like, it was clumsy from Zuma, and I saw it and I was like, this is going to go to VAR. This is going to get overturned, and he's going to give the penalty, and you know, City get another chance to get back in the game. And why it wasn't given, I don't know. I think maybe it wasn't given because they'd already been given one, and I think that plays with the referee's mind at times. We've seen it in games in the past as well. But yeah, for me, that was 100% a penalty. It was silly from Zuma, and he can't do that against bigger teams like that. You can't afford to keep giving them chances because he got away with one there. Let's be honest.
I just think it was the player that it happened against, because Sterling's been known to go down easy in his time. I mean, if it was Mo Salah, they would have given that penalty. If it was Bruno Fernandes, they would have given that penalty.
He would have got 2 penalties, wouldn't he, Fernandes? He would have got that one. They would have given him another one in the game as well, because he always gets penalties.
Mate, it is what it is, isn't it? But I'm just saying, I think, me personally, I just think it was a penalty. But no, Chelsea deserved it at the end of the day, and it leaves me with 2 thoughts. One, it makes you think, well, Chelsea have got to win the Champions League now, doesn't it? But then it also makes you think that Man City have lost to Chelsea so many times this season in the Champions League final, are they just going to turn it up and like Chelsea can't live with them? It's going to be a fantastic game to watch in the final, to be honest. And we'll talk about that final in a minute when we talk about it being moved to London. But did you see in the Villa and Man United game, I think it was 1-1 at the time, it might have been 1-0 to Villa, I can't remember. But the Aston Villa attack, they headed it, and Greenwood jumped up and he had his arm up in the air, and he hit his arm, and they give it no penalty. They checked it with VAR, and they still give no penalty. In my opinion, that was only not given because it was Man United. Any other club, if it was up the other end, that would have been a penalty. You don't jump. You jump with your arms up by your body to get that like that. So you pull your arms down to get your head up, right? He jumped, his arm was up fucking here. That, to me, it was a joke. I couldn't believe it. Now, I personally wanted Man United to win, so they have more to play for in the next 2 games, because it helps West Ham basically if they beat Leicester and Liverpool. But when that penalty wasn't given, I was going ape shit, mate, because for me, it goes against everything in the game when you're not giving that penalty when it's been given all season. You know, Tottenham had one against Andy Carroll given because it hit Dyer when he was not even looking, and his arm was here and he weren't looking, hit his hand, they give him a penalty. But Greenwood jumps up, his arm's far away from his body, he hits his hand. Oh no, it's not a penalty because it's Man United. It's clear as day, that's what it was.
100%. Yeah, and I thought the same thing. I was watching it and I thought, yeah, we'll go to VAR. It'll be a penalty, and then it is what it is. And then I thought they didn't give it, and I was like, it's Man United.
It's biased, mate. It's always been the same way. Like back in the day, it was even worse. But you just got to look at these little subtle things, and you see it, and it's always the case, man. The little soft penalties that Man United get as well. Like Man United fans, you can come at me if you want. I don't care. But the way I look at it is you're getting soft penalties, but you're not. That penalty wasn't given against you. If I was Villa, I'd be fuming. Fair enough. Second half, Man United would bang on it, and they deserve to win the game. But it's things like that that just really frustrate me because you watch it and you think, if my club had that done, that would be a penalty. So why is it not when Man United do it? Piss me off.
Yeah, I know. It's that big club bias again, isn't it? And it's not just that. If it was at Old Trafford, everyone would expect it. But I mean, it was at Villa Park, and you thought, okay, yeah, if there'd have been a crowd in there, maybe it would have been a different decision because the crowd would have been screaming for it. The referee might have been a bit like, oh, what do I do here, sort of thing. And
I don't think so, mate. I don't think it. I think the referees now, they're, for one, they're really bad.
Mhm.
Two, like, we'll move on to the West Ham game anyway because we're going to talk about it next anyway. But the referee in that game yesterday, in the last 2 or 3 games we've had, they love to give fouls against West Ham, but they won't give West Ham fouls. They give them when they're blatant, but these little niggly fouls on Antonio, the referee's like, no, nothing. But then up the other end, Diop or Dawson will do something, and then it'll be a free kick all the time. And it's really starting to piss me off because I see it. It's like the standard of refereing, you only notice it the most when it affects your club. Like Arsenal have noticed it a lot this year because it's happened to them. Their fans go on about it. But I also look at it and I feel like refereeing mistakes could be the difference. You look at it last year. Bournemouth got relegated because the goal line system wasn't working.
Yep.
If they got that point against against Sheffield United, they stayed up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's ridiculous, mate. And nothing's been done about that. Bournemouth wasn't given any, from what I know anyway, Bournemouth wasn't given any compensation. They weren't, I mean, years ago when we had that Tevez drama at West Ham, we paid fucking Sheffield United 50 million or something in compensation.
Yeah, but that was a strange one. I know you broke the transfer rules and stuff, but the thing is, if you look at that season, we've spoken about it personally many times, and it wasn't Tevez that saved you from relegation. I mean, he played a part, but it was, if you look who your top goal scorer was, wasn't it Bobby Zamora or Marlon Harewood or someone?
Probably Bobby Zamora.
And the thing is, Sheffield United that season weren't good enough. Like
Tevez was poor for about the first 3 or 4 months that he came in because he couldn't adjust to the game. It took him ages. And then it was when we played Tottenham that he turned up, scored his first goal, free kick. You end up winning it with a last-minute goal. Fucking
4-3. Was it Paul Stalteri, the Canadian right back, scored, didn't he? Yeah, I remember going mad.
Shot was saved by Green, and then fucking
Mate, I was at my ex-girlfriend's house at the time with all of her family, and they were all West Ham fans. And like when Stalteri scored, I just stood up and was like going nuts. And then I thought, oh my god, I'm in a house full of West Ham fans. Time for me to go home, maybe.
To be fair, I mean, it is what it is, mate. But yeah, I don't know. And the referees need to up it, man, because they're really starting to annoy me. I mean, I looked at the game yesterday. West Ham lost because it was West Ham's fault we lost that game, and I put on the West Ham Facebook thing at half time. I just said, like, once again, when it matters, we don't turn up. And I'd say 9 out of 10 fans agreed with what I said, liked my comment or commented on it and said, like, yeah, you're right. And then I had this one guy telling me people are just going to moan. We should just be happy with the season that we're having and just be happy that we've done something that we've unthinkable. And I said, no, I agree. We have done something like we wouldn't have thought of. We should enjoy what we're doing this season. But now we're there. We've been in the top 7 near enough whole season. I don't want to be top. I don't want to be 8th. After all this being so close to Europe and then being known as the team that bottled it and finished 8th, I can't handle that. That's worse for me than a relegation fight because we've been there for so long. We've been playing so well. And then what I meant by my comments was every time we've had a chance to pull away, like this week, Tottenham drop points. And if we beat Everton, we're 9 points clear of Everton. We would have been, I think, 5 points clear of Tottenham. So with 3 games left, that near enough guarantees you Europe, because that means Everton have to win all 3 because they had an extra game to play. So they have to win all 4 games to be in front of us because their goal difference was poorer than ours. But because we fouled again, we didn't turn up on the day, we didn't perform. I mean, you look at the individual players, Ben Rama, poor, and I think it's got to do with his religion, that he's fasting and stuff. I personally wouldn't have started him because he's been playing these games and he's fasting at the same time. His body's going to be fatigued, mate. I would have left him on the bench, let Bowen play, because at the end of the day, he can't break his fasting daylight hours. So he would have been knackered. His body would have been. The lad must have been feeling weak and whatever. And like he had a poor performance, and then all the West Ham fans are now getting on his back. He missed that header. He should have scored that header, I know, but I don't know, mate. We were poor all over the pitch yesterday, and as much as people want to say we dominated the ball and all that, yeah, that's all well and good, but we didn't do nothing. Every time we went near Everton's box, we just give the ball away. We didn't create any chances. Pickford didn't make a save. Pickford's like the most inconsistent goalkeeper. He's got a calamity in him, and we didn't even test him, not once, not even a shot from distance. Injuries again. I'm sick and tired. I'm getting so angry with all these injuries. Cresswell's now out again. Lanzini's gone off again. And I'm just at that point now, man, where I can't be asked anymore because it's totally against us. There's something that's like there that's totally against us. Because even if we win our next 3 games now, it don't matter. It don't matter. We're not going to get top 4. My only hope is that top 5 gets it because then we can finish 5th. If Leicester lose all 3 games and we win all 3 games, we finish above Leicester. So that's my only hope. I think Liverpool's going to get top 4 now. So, because I just don't see Liverpool dropping points. You see what they've got, I'm worried about Everton. I mean, the only thing that keeps me remotely happy against Spurs is that it's still 2 points above you, and you have to play Leicester on the final day. So that's like a basic, Europe 6-pointer right there. So we could probably capitalise on that if we win our last 3 games. But from what I saw yesterday, I'm not confident. I'm not. Antonio had an off day. Lingard, where's he been the last few games? So I'm starting to understand what all these Man United fans have said about him.
Yeah, I told you. I did tell you he's hot and cold. He's been excellent, and then now he's gonna.
I'm not gonna slate him because he was playing he was like world class form when he came. He was like game changer, different. The last few games, with all the praise, has got to come criticism. You've got to take it, and he hasn't been performing. Again, D-Hop again, rushing in. And the goal, mate, the goal just sums up everything what I'm saying. He rushes in to mark the defender, vacates the space, so then their centre-back plays one pass through, Calvert-Lewin runs past Dawson. Dawson has nowhere near him, doesn't even put in a tackle because he can't, and he just slips it past Fabianski. And I'm just like, what? Really? And then from that moment, we didn't look like we were going to do anything. And fair play to Everton. They knew that we were deadly on the attack when we were on it. When we're on it, we're one of we're in the top 4 best attacks in the league when we're on it. Like with Lingard interchanging with Antonio, Ben Rama, and all. We've got so many different things we could do. And they knew that. So they just sat back and said, come do it. Come break us down. And the thing is, the key to him wasn't Calvert-Lewin, it was Allen. It was that centre DM again. I told you that's the most crucial position on the football pitch. He broke down everything West Ham did. Do I think he should have been on the pitch? No, I think he should have got a couple of yellow cards before he even got a yellow card. Same as Davies. And this goes into my point about the referees. They weren't giving yellow cards. And then Lingard didn't even do anything to Davies, and he got booked. Maybe because of his reaction, because he was screaming "fuck off" the referee.
Yeah, you can't swear at the refs, can you? That's the thing.
Mate, I was screaming a lot worse at TV. So.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. But we said it though, didn't we, before when we were talking about it before the game? We said that Dominic Calvert-Lewin was good because he's not done much during the week and like in the last few weeks actually, and he did. And I thought, yeah, like you said, I saw glimpses of the West Ham game. I didn't watch all of it, but the result was right. And I think, you're going to be lucky now if you do qualify for top 4. But I think, honestly, the other West Ham fan was right. If you get Europe, then you should be happy with it. If you don't get European football, it can be seen as a disappointment, and I think it
No, he
should.
was saying that. He was saying that if we don't get European football, we should still be happy with the season that we had.
Oh
And I
no,
said,
no, 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 no.
no, I said, he said, you should be happy with the achievement that we've done. I said, mate, if we finish eighth, we've achieved nothing. Eighth gets us nothing. We just finished eighth in the league. And when you've been in the top 7 all this time, finishing eighth is an underachievement, not an achievement. And that's why I'm so angry. I love the club so much. And for the first time in my life, or the second time, we've had a chance of being in Europe, like through the league and performing amazingly, getting top 4. And we keep blowing it when we have these opportunities. Chelsea, the other week, they were there for the taking. We didn't go for it. Newcastle, the week before, we got it back to 2-2 and then conceded a goal straight away. Who does it? West Ham does it. And I'm sick and tired of it. We get there, we're on the cusp, we can feel it, and then we're like, I can't bother. It looked like the players didn't want it yesterday. And that's the thing that really like bums me out, because like I found this thing online like where you can predict results for the rest of the season and it predicts the table and stuff.
Yep.
And I was being realistic. I think I put Leicester to lose against Man United, lose against Chelsea, and draw against Tottenham. And I put Liverpool to win pretty much every game. And I did West Ham to draw against Brighton because they're our bogey team, but then I did us to beat West Brom and beat Southampton. And I think Tottenham finished 7th, Leicester finished 6th, West Ham finished 5th, Liverpool finished 4th, Chelsea 3rd, Man United, Man City. Now, if we finish 5th, I'm sure that should be getting Champions League. But no one's talking about it. No West Ham fans are talking about it. And I'm like, what's going on here? If Chelsea win the Champions League, it falls to 5th. But if Man City win the Champions League, it falls to 5th. Because they're winning the Champions League. So it doesn't matter if they win the league.
Yeah.
It's still going to fall down to 5th place. Because you're allowed to have 5 English teams in the Champions League if one English team wins it. Because you're allowed 5 teams, basically. So
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to research to see if it does drop down. But
I know it does if Chelsea win it, we do. But then it's the same theoretical thing if Man City win it. So technically, 5th place should be getting you Champions League now. So
fingers crossed. I mean, it would be helpful, wouldn't it? But I think, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's a tough running for all the teams. And like you said, I think Tottenham's game against Leicester at the end of the season is going to be a big.
Mate, it's not tough for us though. It's not tough for us. We've got 2 teams that have just basically they're basically safe.
Mhm.
Yeah. One's just been relegated. If we don't win all 3 games, then it's on us. If
It is.
anyone else had the running that we had, if Chelsea had Everton, Burnley, Everton, Brighton, West Brom, Southampton, they'd be winning every game.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that all season. Our bad things this season is we haven't turned up against the so-called Big 6. You know, I think Tottenham we've done them, but the rest of them we've lost. We've lost to Arsenal, we've lost to Man United, we lost to Liverpool, we lost to City, we lost to Chelsea twice. We've not turned up against them teams, and that's where we've let ourselves down. But all the rest of them, I think it was only Newcastle that have beat us. It might be more, but I think Newcastle was the only one that beat us when I last looked that up. And I was just like, that's insane. Normally it's the other way around. Normally we get results against the big teams and lose to all these minor teams. And I'm just like, oh, whatever. But mate, yeah, the game I was pissed off. Like I was sitting there nervous, and before the game started, during the game, depressed. After the game, I was depressed. It took me hours to get out of it. And in some ways, I just feel like I don't know if I actually want West Ham to do this, because I don't know if I could take it. If West Ham did this on the regular, I don't think I could take this, mate, because it's just all I want is Champions League football, just to say that my team is in the Champions League once. That's all I want. Even if we're in the qualifying and we get AC Milan and they knock us out, yeah, I don't mind, because then at least we've been there and then we go into the Europa League. I don't mind. But if we finish 8th, it'll be worse than last season, where we just stayed up for me, because of all this hope, all of this, you know, oh my God, like Rio Ferdinand and Glenn Hoddle both saying West Ham are going to get top four. Like all these big pundits are saying, yeah, West Ham are going to do it. I think West Ham are going to do it, or at least Europe. And then they finish eighth. It's such a West Ham thing to do. And I can't handle it if they do that. I really can't. But yeah, fair play to Everton. They deserved it on the day. They had a game plan and they did it, mate. But just before we move on, Arsenal 3, West Brom 1. Big Sam's finally relegated.
Yeah, and it was on the cards, wasn't it? Let's be honest. They were always going to go down. I mean, what are the point? What is the point of teams like West Brom and Norwich? They come up, they go down. They come up, they go. What is the point? Like, there should become a point where the Premier League just goes, do you know what, guys? No. Like, you're staying in the Championship because, like, you're just pointless. Like, you're up and down.
You
It's
can't take that dream away from them. You basically want to be ESL then, don't you?
no, it's just I find they're a pointless team. Like, they'll go into the Championship next season, they'll get 100 points, they'll come up, and then they'll be in the Premier League again and get like 30 points and go down again. And it's like, come on, guys, like,
Mate, West Brom
really?
was in it for a few years though. Before they went down last time, they stayed up for a few years.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you go as far back, like, they've always been an up and down team. Don't they call them like the boing boing baggies or something? So,
I mean, West Brom have got some good players, mate. Actually, the list that I've made to sign players, I actually haven't put any West Broms on there, but I think I might now. I just thought about it. That Pereira, man, I'll take him at West Ham.
fair enough.
Obviously, Dean Garner, he's been injured a lot this season, but I'll bring him back to West Ham. Johnson, the goalkeeper. The only reason why I've not put him down is because we need to strengthen other areas before we strengthen goalkeeper, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about Champions League, West Ham.
To the Festival of Football podcast, presented by Henry Berrett and Billy Harvey. We'll see you on the next one.